There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. Dear God, little Teddy knows that Teddy was one. Little Teddy's mother was a tailor. Little Teddy's mom sewed little Teddy's new blue jeans. And little Teddy's father was a gambling man way down in New Orleans. And the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's a little drunk. Little Teddy's father was a little drunk? That's so moist. Well, I didn't tell you so much. I didn't tell you so much. And when I tell you poems and food blogs, really do reach you. This time you should century. So Little Teddy says, another one to the pile. Another one bites the dust. Michael Jackson sound Russia from Forest kind of soon, I hope. But Steffi Graf said to find one to marry her. How much money do you have? Love me some Steffi Graf. Love me some 10 single bracelets. Feed, kafefe, felicitation, COVFEFE, feta cheese, cringy, C-R-N-G-E-Y. These are vocal training exercises I like to do so I can enunciate words and pronounce words correctly. Asterisk, as long as I hear my Deborah. I'm like, waiting for me to learn something. Middle Easterners should do candlelight vigil for all the humans who died from Middle Eastern countries' conflicts. There should be mandatory cultural exchanges instead of mandatory military service for Middle East countries like Israel, Iran, and Arab countries like Dubai. Sharing food is love. We can respect each other's languages, religions, culture, traditions, and if someone wants to have marijuana or alcohol, it should be legal so they don't overdose and die. 60% of the time I face for Little Teddy every time. What the world needs now is for Little Teddy and their single friend or single family member of Little Teddy to propose to me right during my speaking on Instagram. That is just the one thing in this world. Let's do little love. If USA gives Iran technology to make practical amounts of fresh water from salty water, Iranians will love Trump so much. Iranians will love Trump so much. Iranians will build a golf course for Trump inside of Iran and a Disney World franchise inside of Iran too for Trump. Cynicism, poison to the heart. Never lose hope, my dear heart. Miracles dwell in the invisible. Hashtag Ruby R-U-M-I. I'll have a Michael Jackson sounds having on the menu. Hee. Oh, Michael Jackson sounds saying that nobody really cares about the Middle East. We really serious care for peace and coexistence in the Middle East, for the Middle East, by the Middle East, in the name of democracy. Like Charlie Chaplin movie. Let's unite, walk over yourself. Heart this light of love, illuminate well, whether in mosque or synagogue they dwell. Have the names written in the book of love, unvexed with hopes and our fears of hell. Even the bow, fast of donkey, book of verse, we know the kind of progeny, so certainly showing family, never were under well. Carry the suit, carry the wilderness, wilderness is paradise now. I'll have a 10 second with sounds of having this menu. It's just baby making music. That's maybe that's the sounds you make when you're making a baby and giving birth to a baby. Don't mind me. I like to listen. I can't help it because I'm even. These are vocal training exercises of VOCL so I can enunciate words and pronounce words correctly. Asterisk, here we go. Culture opens doors. Culture closes doors. See? You fook me. Twins, man. That's right. I've been doing something. Give me a fagard. Culture opens doors. Culture closes doors. Here we go. Persian word of the day. What are we going to do today? For my nephews and nieces. Separating our time and space. Living globally. Here we go. Persian word for the English word pain. Pain, making me believer. Pain, making me believer. Pain, making me go a little and taking to the membrane. I'm crazy and I like it. Loca. Shakira. Dard, 2 syllable. Dard means pain in Persian. It's a tie between both of the words. I don't know which one it means, I'm not sure. Dar, modar, dar, door, mother, door, to pain I gave you new life. Pain to the mothered. Modard. Hashtag allergy, hashtag respect, hashtag we'll get hashtag Borat. Surely this is new life in the one learn project foundation, false piece of art. It's the same old golden old blue balance. Rupa This is support non-governmental non-profit organization, President Foundation, PLF, EFL, Project Fidelity, support Cambridge, Wars, and the emotional good. Knows a book like a flamingo, vision food the best. Now we're going to culture and today, food, dance, music, news to click. What Trinity. Sanction snapback augurs deeper pain for Iran's ailing economy. Iran could face fresh shocks to its already deeply rattled currency, costs of living and growth prospects if UN sanctions are lifted by the 2019 nuclear deal are reimposed. Britain, France, and Germany on Thursday triggered a 30-day process, the so-called snapback mechanism, to restore the international sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program in a formal letter sent to the United Nations Security Council. Activation of the snapback mechanism would reinstate comprehensive UN sanctions, which would include travel bans, asset freezes, UN inspections of Iranian shipments, and arms trade prohibitions, but notably exclude direct sanctions on oil exports or the Central Bank of Iran. Restrictions on oil and banking have instead come mainly from unilateral US and EU-Europe measures imposed after the UN resolutions, which put direct pressure on Iran's foreign exchange earnings. Energy exports are the state's biggest source of revenue. Markets react. Renewed UN sanctions would indirectly reduce oil revenues, constrain access to foreign currency, and place heavy pressure on the rial, Iran's national currency. A weaker Iranian national currency would raise import costs and production inputs, driving faster inflation. At the same time, the government might be forced to finance deficits through borrowing and money printing while inflation expectations climb, amplifying price pressures. Markets are already reacting. The real Iranian national currency has lost more than 7.5% of its value in the Tehran open market in recent days. According to experts at the Tehran Chamber of Commerce, factors such as declining currency reserves, limited oil sales, rising inflation expectations, and geopolitical risks are the main drivers for the projected surge in the dollar rate. In a report released on Wednesday, the TCC outlined Iran's economic outlook if the snapback mechanism was activated, presenting three scenarios: optimistic, likely, and pessimistic through the end of 2025. According to the report, the free market exchange rate, which stood around 930,000 rials per dollar in August, could climb to 1.65 million under the pessimistic case. Annual inflation, already near 50%, is projected to reach 60 to 90%, while economic growth would remain negative in all cases, between a loss of 0.6% and 3.1%. In the optimistic scenario, the rial would reach 1.15 million per dollar, inflation 60%, growth 1.5%, unemployment 10.5%, and the stock market value of $120 billion. Historical experience reinforces the risks. In 2012 and 2013, intensified oil and banking sanctions drove inflation from around 20% to nearly 40%, showing that even small disruptions in currency access can destabilize the economy. In 2018, following the U.S. withdrawal from the nuclear deal, the rial plunged again, then inflation stabilized at 30 to 50%. Ultra-conservative denial. Ultra-conservative outlets like Tasnim and Fars framed the snapback as a chance to highlight Iran's resilience. These outlets reflect the so-called resistance economy doctrine, claiming that sanctions are largely ineffective and that Iran has already learned how to bypass them. Iran's economy has already endured the main shock of sanctions, and that experience has driven structural changes in oil sales, foreign trade, and even banking mechanisms. An article was saying this. As a result, it cannot be assumed that a return of the same sanctions, this time in a more limited form, would replicate the effects of the early 2010s. However, the reformist-leaning daily Jahan Sanat newspapers warned that the Iranian economy's capacity to absorb new shocks has diminished, and even the smallest constraint could impact the fragile balance. I'm upset. That is so boring. That's the new stuff. I get the cultural news out of the way so I can do the golden the Buddha dance for the sake of Buddha dance. Karaoke for the sake of karaoke. Dust smash for the sake of dust smash. For all my nephews and nieces, I burn my time and space. Vocal training exercises, VOCAL, so I can enunciate words and pronounce words correctly. Asterisks, I'm like very familiar to come. As long as I get my moist Deborah. Yes! I love me some Deborah. Another summer day has come and gone away. I've been to Paris and Rome, but I want to go home. I want no place at home, yeah, Paris. I want to go home. nice spider. I can't zoom in, focusing on it here. Let's see if I can focus on the spider. There we go. Eerie. You can see the 8 legs. Nice. I want to go home. No place like home, Iran, Miafaz. Like Wizard of Oz movie, No Place Like Home, like Iran. But also like extraterrestrial movie, E.T. movie, Foreigner Fresh Out of World Problems. I gotta take my glasses off so I don't bend them. Bend it like Pele, not Beckham. Bend it like Roberto Carlos. Bend it like Kaká. Bend it like Ronaldinho. Bend it like Messi. But not like Beckham. Beckham, I'm not sure he was that good at bending the ball, you know? It was mostly because of his looks people liked him a lot. He was very handsome and charismatic and likable. And he's rather humble for being a pretty successful player. I'm not, like, you can't, when you compare it to all international players, you gotta look at it very objectively, you know? We call Ronaldinho the magician for a couple of reasons, because he makes football look cool. F-U-T-B-O-L, football. Okay, I digress. I like to compare my Buddha belly to the Buddha belly of the extraterrestrial movie, E.T. Fresh Out of World Problems. I got a lower discarnation, that's why I can't flatten my back. I can't do it, so I'm like, I got a hump. My hump. My lumbar discarnation bumps. My lumbar discarnation bumps. Check it out. In 2005, I jumped up down on me. I can't do it in a singing format. In 2005, I jumped up down 1 meter height with 120 pounds. I had lumbar discarnation. That was stupid. 2007, we were 12 high school. I got the most valuable player for volleyball as a spiker, but I couldn't do uppercuts anymore. I lost my 8-pack. I got a Buddha belly. Stupidity doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's why again, this law in Australia, the ban humans over 16 years of age using social media like Instagram media on TikTok. Instagram media on TikTok lets hormonal youth vote hormonal parkour and said they can do extreme and undo sports. So whoever gives the wings, they're safety nets to catch them because they're accountable to the parents, the grandparents, uncles, aunties, the cousins, the whole shebang. I'm crazy and I like it. Look at. Shakira. Every time a girl could dance like this. You should make them want to speak Spanish. Come and see them. That's more like it. I gotta get more hair out. It hurts, but it's worth it. To show the future of my child, I'm a human punching bag below the neck and above the waist. Everything, the moneymaker there, below the belt and above the neck is off guard. It's not included in the punching bag deal. The future of my child. What else? I can compare my body to the Persian wolf, high Chupon Persian bodybuilder. He's got an 8-pack. He doesn't have a man hair though. Man hair soft and still. I do it some Buddha whey powder. Yahweh no whey powder. That's the whey powder to Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. Bibi is just another Habibi trying to make his income in this world. He's just the father figure. He's trying to protect his people. You know, nobody knows when the violence started, but everybody knows the cycle. It's a cycle of eye for an eye, leave the world blind, That's what Gandhi is so respected. May Gandhi rest in peace. I love Gandhi. I love Lamb. I love Muhammad Ali. I love William Hung. She bang, boom bae. She bang, boom bae. She bang, she bang. Oh, baby. She move. I go crazy. She looked like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Like every girl in history. Hashtag what do we Hung do? Hashtag she bang, boom bae. Yahweh means the Jewish word for God. That's how you sell whey powder to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu, Habibi. Buy this, buy that. Okay, what else? Arnold Schwarzenegger told the Persian bodybuilder how to chew upon Persian wolf. Look at this monster. It's not a tumor. It's get to the chopper. Unless it is a tumor, in which case we're going to F cancer up. If it's breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, any type of cancer, we cover it all at F cancer charity, a non-government organization. That we get to approach cancer as a whole thing. Because maybe there's puzzle pieces from one type of cancer that applies to other cancer variations as well. It's good to have a holistic perspective of all the cancer treatments that we have currently in clinical trials and whatnot. Okay, what else? A man who was going to manage fish, fin, head, tail goes on a happy trail, but I killed a quack and it's not going to kill me. I'm shooting me, palangi, too fast, too furious. Eat, you want to go home, yeah, fellas? Eat, you want to go home? You know where home is? Home is in a place. Home is your relatives are. Why am I talking like this? Home is where your relatives are because dance is beautiful framed by all the faults of your relatives and your nephews and nieces and cousins and aunties. You witnessing all the falls they make before they reach success, and they excel in their profession and become masters from being apprentices. Master and apprentice. Donald Trump would appreciate that reference. He likes reality TV by saying, "You're fired," and he did that. He said, "Oh, that's a catchphrase he has," and he helped people with business. He's not trying to do some kind of a cosmic war. He's doing a realistic, historical business deals that can have a real life potential for us being lasting solutions. He's a man of the world. So what if Trump had a relationship with many different women? He's a man of the world. He's doing what every other guy wish they could do. Speak the truth, me fathers. Okay, what else? Yeah, my mom likes being around her relatives. I like it too. Me and my mom like to be in a crowded room with all my relatives and hear all their laughter and see them dancing. Oh, it's beautiful. Can't replace it. My place is in Iran. Also, I like exotic food that is really expensive here, but it's really cheap in Iran. Hopefully, I can. My mom can send me there and give me allowance money from me being such a good boy and contributing to the family chores, like driving her around and whatnot. Driving Miss Daisy, driving Miss Mama Mary Longstocking. Here we go. It's an ode to night Roxbury film. Emilio does a nightclub, she like a nightclub, inside nightclub, she like a purchase spot, Kashan, Shaz, Diaz, Kish, Kiran. Take me off and close off, take clothes off, take me off and close off, take clothes off, it's getting hot, let me off and club, it's getting hot, let me off and club, put on bum bum, take clothes up, 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 get naked, down. I like big fat gold butts in the candlelight. You had me off as a stair, ghosts can't deny. Well, go down zone of the park in your face, I don't think in your face you get sprung. It's getting hot in here, so hot I'm taking off all my clothes. I am getting so hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off and shower. Future mother of a child will appreciate or play racket sports or football, otherwise she's all style, no substance. Hips and shoulders is all the work, especially if I'm birthing my giant-headed are going to twin babies. Fashion Accessory 1 meets Fashion Accessory 2. That's going to be the name of my future children. As an ode to Fashion watercolor painter who passed away recently around 90 years of age from pneumonia in the United States of America. But he was buried somewhere in Iran, I think. I think it's fine if I'm not mistaken. I have to Google that. Added to the Googling list series. Okay. What else? After I have my baby soon with my future man, my child, I'm going to divorce her according to our prenuptial agreement. And it's at the end of the prenuptial agreement, temporary marriage contract, it's going to say there are no goodbyes in love, #Hopez. You only live once, if you only temporary marriage contract once. I'm going to make many temporary marriage contracts, so it's as if I have lived many lives with everyone. My living legacy will be my children. I have a same since I was having the food menu. I have a Michael Jackson having the food menu. All Michael Jackson sounds saying that every Middle Easterner cares about the Middle East for peace and coexistence in the Middle East for them is bad Middle East. In the name of democracy, like Charlie Chatham, let's unite, park up yourself. Unity and diversity, faith over fear. Eye for an eye, live the world blind, me, we are all born innocent. Park up yourself.